Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drop Coverage. I'm your host, Miles Cody, and I want to thank you for tuning in to my first episode, channel premiere kind of thing. Ever since I was little, I've had a dream of having my own sports show. I spend a lot of my time talking about basketball in specific, and I played a lot. I've watched a lot, talked a lot, of course, and I've even coached. So having this as an asset for the game can keep me in it, right? Keep me learning new things, interact with different parts of the community, and kind of see different people's viewpoints on things I might not know. So I want to thank you for being here and maybe interacting a little bit, right? So drop coverage is kind of just a amalgamation of different parts of the game of basketball I love, right? I love the inner workings of plays, right, X's and O's, but I also love, off-season, trade speculation, hot take kind of thing, right? The draft just happened, so I was thinking about doing a podcast on that. And I'm also open to hearing ideas from you as anyone who's watching this. If there's like a Q&A kind of thing that you want to do, or you have just a question for me in general that you want to ask, as far as how I see things. Like, hey, this is my team. What direction do you think we're going in, right? If we're tanking or if we're trying to contend, if there's a big blockbuster trade, like Giannis just got traded, LaMelo got traded, I'll talk about that later. But if there's anything you guys want me to cover, just let me know and I'll be happy to do it. As far as the schedule for the show, I plan to be like a once a week, like a weekend kind of thing, around like an hour per show. So not big. If there's anything like blockbuster that happens in the league, I'll try and get on that too. Like if Luka got traded, right? Like last year, I'd probably make like an emergency podcast on that, right? So it kind of just depends, right? I was thinking about having some of my friends on that know basketball that also like talking, that I talk with, that are fans of specific teams. If there's like a Brooklyn Nets fan that I know, I'll bring them on and go over the Nets, how they contend, what do you think about Julius Randle, right? He's got traded there. So if there's anything that I'm looking for from other people, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing them on and kind of just talking through it with them, right? Because I know fans of many different teams, and that's kind of something I like learning about. Because I'm a Pistons fan, right? So I don't learn that much about other teams, right? We just trade Isaiah Stewart, but we don't really have that many things going on right now because we have so much cap space. We probably will this summer, but not yet. So as far as topics we'll cover on the show, right? It'll be mostly a basketball thing, at least for now. If it plans on growing into something bigger, cool. I don't really expect it to for now, right? It's kind of like a passion project that I've had since I was in middle school. So right now, just basketball. But if you guys have questions on anything else, I would be open to that. I watch a lot of football too. I'm a Niners fan, right? So yeah, just let me know. As far as the current news that's been going on, that's the thing I enjoy a lot, right? I like talking about that, about new subjects that are going on in the league that we haven't seen before, right? Like Giannis just got traded to Miami, right? And where Miami traded their entire team for him. And actually, I want to see the trade details on that. So Giannis just got traded to the Heat in exchange for 5 future picks and 4 players. Those players being Kasparas Yakuchonis, right? I know a lot of Heat fans love him because he's young, he's a bright future, he has a lot of potential. Jaime Jaquez, who I think won Rookie of the Year a couple years ago. Tyler Hero, who is from Miami, and Khalil Ware, who is a good young center that should be good for the Bucks going forward in their rebuild. With Ryan Rollins and Miles Turner, kind of Kyle Kuzma. I think the Bucks will make more trades of that, but I'll talk about that later. And then of course the Heat. So going forward, the Heat they're in a weird spot right now, right? They're in a little bit of cap trouble. They have Andrew Wiggins and Norman Powell expiring, which are both very big parts of their team, especially if they plan to compete this year with Giannis. Of course, Tyler Hero, as good as it would have been for him to be there, him and Norman Powell don't play together well. So it had to be one or the other. And I think Tyler Hero got traded because he's a lot more valuable of a piece. He's a lot younger. He's like, what, 26? So I don't think a trade involving Norman Powell for Giannis would have happened, right? So they had to give up some significant trade compensation to get him. But going forward, I think it is important for the Bucks to continue to make off-season deals, right? They need depth. And they need to maybe restructure some contracts because as of now they can only keep one of Norman Powell or Andrew Wiggins. So I think they will need to maybe bring in some young players, right? Trade away even more picks. Even second round picks. Get like a Tyus Jones or something, right? It's not much, but it's better than probably whoever they got now, like Davion Mitchell. It's probably the same caliber player. And you need bench depth. A big thing in the league now is bench depth. These last couple years, these champions, right? The Knicks have had good bench depth. The Thunder are one of the most, probably the deepest team ever, right? They just trade away. It might have been Cason Wallace. I'm not sure. I don't think it was actually. But yeah, they have AJ Mitchell, Caruso, Lou Dort, and those guys don't even start, right? So a big thing right now for the Heat will be getting playable players that like add like a 7-8, ranked guy on the team, 7-8 man, right? And as far as health will be a really important thing for them to prioritize. I'm not saying load manage, right? But I think they will have to kind of limit what they do in the regular season, kind of like what the Knicks did. Because if Giannis gets hurt, the entire trade, their entire future gets blown up, right? Trade their entire future for a guy who has been injured the last couple postseasons that he's been in. And yeah, so they need help from everyone. Of course, they're a very top-heavy team. Bam, Giannis, Andrew Wiggins, not as high up, of course, Norman Powell. But yeah, they need to stay healthy. I think kind of getting a more baseline pyramid as far as so right now they only have Giannis and Bam, right? Those are tier A guys, and then you have a couple solid players, and after that they have nothing. So I think they should kind of try and bring more of the minimum but still playable kind of caliber players in there to kind of even the thing out, even the roster out. Same as the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've dealt with a lot of injuries in the past, such as Edwards this year against the Nuggets. Who else? They got Ayo Dosunmu, who's been injured. They've had Dante DiVincenzo, who might not play this year. But speaking of the Wolves, this is why I want to bring this up. Is they just traded for LaMelo Ball. They traded away Naz Reid and a first-round unprotected pick in 2033, I believe. I'm not completely sure. And then they had 3 pick swaps, right? First-round pick swaps, and I think 3 second-rounders. So a decent haul for LaMelo. But my biggest thing about that trade is I kind of see it as a lose-lose. I'm not going to lie. Because Minnesota is a team that, of course, traded away Karl-Anthony Towns for cap space for Julius Randle. And that did not work out, right? He was there 2 years. And last year, he had one of the worst playoff performances ever, besides, Jalen Duren, who was terrible in his own right for my Pistons. And so he just got salary dumped to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for, I think, like a second-round pick. I'm not sure, though. But for the Wolves, going forward, I think Rudy Gobert will kind of be put in a weird position here because his Twin Towers kind of running mate, Naz Reid, got dealt for LaMelo. And so now, Minnesota's kind of double big project they've been running against teams like the Nuggets the last couple of years. Like, of course, Kat and Gobert did a great job on shutting Jokic down. Naz Reid did a good job last year. Gobert is always a historically great defensive player. But I think, going forward, a lot more work will be put on him, and maybe bringing in a power forward because Kyle Anderson is not going to do much anymore in this state of his career. He's always a solid player, but he shouldn't be a starting caliber player anymore, especially for a playoff team, which they will, of course, try and be a playoff team. But as far as why I think the lose, the Hornets have been since January 1st like the hottest team in the league. I think I saw something on. They almost made the playoffs, right? They were playing against I think the Magic in the play-in, in which they lost. But it was still a close game, right? I think they deserved to get somewhere in the playoffs, right? 8 seed. I would like to play them in the first round. I think they deserve to be there. If they played the entire year like they did 2026. But they had such a young team, right? LaMelo was kind of this, engine for them that I wouldn't say it's a great, good thing to die on. Yeah, die in the hill. Because he's not the best player in the world as far as, not a great defender. He's kind of a shot chucker sometimes. I mean, he averages 20 points. He's a great passer, fantastic passer. But he's still kind of an unserious player. And I think being in Minnesota will kind of have him need to prove that he can, try and compete with a serious team. Unlike what the Hornets have been for the past, 5 years. So I think it'll be a change. It'll be fun to see. But now that LaMelo's gone, the Hornets are put in a weird spot around Brandon Miller, who's great in his own right, Concanipple, who had one of the best rookie shooting seasons ever last year, and yeah, so now they're in a position where I don't think they have their true franchise guy anymore, like LaMelo was, even as non-optimal as him being your franchise guy is. He was something. He was a star. So now I think they'll kind of try and tank for a year or two more and try and find their guy. Maybe you can trade for him. Right? I know they have Tijon Salon, who is a big developmental guy who hasn't really done anything yet. But he has potential. Yeah, they have a lot of different players. They have Musa Diabate. He's been good for them. He's young. Yeah, so they're a very young team, and I think LaMelo Ball didn't really fit their whole timeline because he's I think 26 years old and everyone else is like 22. So I think they got rid of him at a sell high kind of point before he kind of just derailed the team as far as timeline wise. For the Charlotte Hornets, I'm confused on what they're going to do here because they have a couple of decent big men that I think I don't know how they'll play well. I don't know if they'll play well together. They have, of course, Musa Diabate. They have Naz Reid coming in. I don't know how well they will play together because, of course, Naz Reid has played with non-shooting bigs before. I don't think Musa is a great shooter, but I'm confused on how that'll end up because Musa isn't Rudy Gobert on defense, and they have some other white guy as their backup center who's also decent. He's a good player. He has high potential. He's young too, but I'm kind of confused. I'm excited to see how it works out. And as far as draft compensation, they received pick swaps. I don't know if Minnesota's in a place to where those pick swaps will matter much, because I think they will be a good team, especially now that they have LaMelo. I think they'll be better. Will it be quite at contender level? I don't think so. I think more trades need to be made in the case of LaMelo and Giannis. But yeah, I can see a bright future, and I can also see a Dame and Giannis situation where things just don't work out, and they gotta rebuild a couple more years, and they gotta unload everything. Like, what do the Timberwolves look like if this experiment doesn't work, and Anthony Edwards just leaves, and they give all their picks away, as a worse team now with him gone to Charlotte? I think Charlotte could be really good if that happens, with some potentially top 5 level picks if Edwards isn't there. So yeah, I'll be excited to see it. And as far as my Pistons, right, we traded away Beef Stew, and that hurt so much because he was so good for us. But it seems like every year he has been injured in time for playoffs, especially this year, right? He was a huge part of the team. He makes $15 million a year. He averaged what, like 12 points? Yeah, something like that. He was a good shooter on limited volume, right? So he wasn't a floor spacer, but he can hit another shot, which is something the Pistons need, right? 2 out of 3 players in the starting lineup are non-shooters. Duren can't shoot. Ausar can't shoot. Um, so I think Beef Stew's ability to kind of hit the open shot, as limited as his skill set was offensively, it was a very, very needed thing for this team. Um, and even Paul Reed, who is somewhat of a shooter too, he kind of fills that role. But we haven't really seen Paul Reed fill the starting caliber minutes that Isaiah Stewart did in spurts if Duren was out. So I'll be excited to see that. And I do love Paul Reed. I just don't know how he'll hold up over the volume that Isaiah Stewart played with. I think the defense will get worse because Isaiah Stewart allowed. It was something like he allowed the second worst like rim percentage, like rim field goal percentage. Yet last year it was something crazy. It was like 40%. It was him and Wembanyama that were like tied. Yeah, I don't think the Pistons will be able to recover that from that easy. But they got, I think, a second round pick, right? They got, actually I think it was three second round picks, and they cleared $15 million in cap space to hopefully bring in like a Devin Booker, like a CJ McCollum or Tyler Hero. I could see, but the big thing for the Pistons now is they have more cap space to get these players that they've wanted for so long, such as those players I just named, maybe a Peyton Pritchard, who I don't think Boston will let go, but Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who also is in a good spot, but there's so many like two guards that could work alongside Cade Cunningham that kind of need to be brought in soon because the Pistons are competing. Like they were the first seed last year. They won 60 games. They need to compete now, and they just drafted Ibuka Okori, is that his name? Out of college for the draft. They traded up to get him actually, so it proves that they like him, and I like him too. It's just he's small. He's like 6'1", so I don't know if he can play the 2, but yeah, he's like 6'1", like 175, 180. So I think he would have to move the 2 there, but he's long. He's got like a 6'8" wingspan. I just don't know how the Pistons, as a defensive-minded team, will be able to hide a 6'1", guard on the 6'1" skinny guard on the court, alongside Ausar, Duren, these big strong guys, right? Tobias Harris, Cade, of course, he's big too, and yeah, it'll be fun to see. But yeah, looking forward to other parts of the draft. I'm gonna try and cover that in the next episode. Hopefully this weekend, maybe a little bit later. I'm not completely sure yet, but yeah, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if there's any critiques that you want to let me know about, right? Any intricacies that I can fix up on, let me know. I'm open to it. And I thank you all for tuning in to Drop Coverage. And have a nice day.